Aloha and welcome to the next leg of this epic trip. This time we are exploring Kauai, the Garden Isle. We arrived into the island via Hawaiian Airlines. This short 40-minute flight from Maui was stunning with great views of the islands as we flew into Lihue Airport. We made real short work of this tiny airport and headed straight to the rental car centre. Again, no issues here as we went straight to our car via our Avis preferred access, but honestly, there was no queue at all for anybody. We had booked a medium-sized SUV as we just wanted a sensible car for this leg of the trip. The Kia Sportage we were given was perfect, nearly brand new and drove really well. Not exciting, but practical. And then we headed off to our accommodation in the Poipu area of Kauai. Poipu is really expensive and the regular condos were reaching $400 to $500 a night, with the hotel options being even worse. It didn't help we were fast approaching the 4th of July, but it's an expensive place to stay regardless. This unit in the Poipu Villas area is a large rental villa that has been broken down into smaller units with the host living above. We still had lots of space and a semi-workable kitchen, barbecues outside and private parking. It was basic, but all we needed, although we could have done with some AC, as without the ocean breezes, as we were a few hundred metres from the shore, was pretty hot in the unit, and opening the windows only does so much. But overall, at less than half of what the condo units in the area were charging, we were quite happy. After arriving at the unit and unpacking our stuff, we headed off to explore the Poipu area. The unit was right on the Poipu Greenway, which runs directly from Breneki Beach to Shipwreck Beach, giving us direct beach access in both directions. We decided to check out Breneki so we could carry on and explore the Poipu Beach and beyond. As we got to Breneki, the surf was really up and the breakers pounding the rocky shoreline. We could see several turtles riding in the waves as we followed the coastal path along to Poipu Beach. This is a turtle resting beach, but most of the little guys were off playing in the waves, but they had their own area roped off just for them. Despite the rough ocean, the beach at Poipu is pretty sheltered, so we couldn't resist a quick dip. Then we carried on along the shoreline as far as Keahuna Beach, where the coastal erosion is pretty bad, with the coastal path dropping off into the sea, and the large waves making the surf school's jobs pretty easy. We then headed back to the unit to head out looking for some food. We ended up at the shops at Kukialula. This has a lot of dining options, but most were pretty high-end, and we were really looking for something casual. In the end, we found the Savage Shrimp Bar, which offered some really good shrimp in various sauces at great prices. We tried the pineapple and chili, and the Savage with savoury broth, both excellent, and just what we were looking for. Then after a quick look round the shops, it'd been a really long travel day, so we headed back to the unit for some downtime before a really big day tomorrow. This was our first full day on Kauai, and it was going to be epic, with 3 huge activities planned. There is so much to see on Kauai, we really had to pack it all in to get the best out of this trip. This started really early as we headed back to the airport for a doors-off helicopter experience with Jack Harter. We have a full review of this once-in-a-lifetime experience coming along really soon, so we'll just leave you here with a few of the highlights. We soared over the Jurassic Park Falls, over the stunning Waimea Canyon, and down the mind-blowing Na Pali Coast shoreline. This is probably the best helicopter experience we have ever had in Hawaii, and right up there with the New York experiences we've had with Fly Nigh On. A truly amazing experience, and make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so you can see the full experience once that video drops. Once back on the ground, it was still only 9:30 AM, and we were starting to get hungry, so we headed to McDonald's for some local delicacies. Hawaii is the only place in the world where you can get spam and rice platters at a McDonald's. We always try and eat local, and this honestly is really what the locals eat. That's corporate America for you. We still had a full day ahead of us, so we ventured off to another of Kauai's highlights that we had just flown over, the stunning Waimea Canyon. Often called the Grand Canyon of the Pacific, this gigantic canyon is much smaller than its bigger brother over in Arizona. You could actually fit all of Kauai into the Grand Canyon, let alone Waimea Canyon, but it's still stunning and has even more vibrant colours and patterns than the Grand Canyon. We drove up Koke Road, which follows the west rim, stopping at various lookouts along the way, taking in the views and admiring the majesty of this stunning natural wonder. Eventually, we arrived at the Waimea Canyon trailhead, where we attempted to hike out to the Waiapoho Falls. Unfortunately, the trail was a bit more rugged than we anticipated, the temperature was a bit high, and we only made it as far as the Cliff Trail lookout before we had run out of time and needed to head back. Back at the car, we continued up Koki Road as far as the Kalalau lookout, which offered stunning views of the Na Pali Coast and the heavily weathered cliffs that plunge into the ocean. We hung around here as the clouds moved in and out, hoping for a rainbow, but none appeared unfortunately. Hooray for AI though! We then slowly backtracked along Koki Road, stopping off at any spots we missed on the way, before returning to our accommodation, ready for stage 3 of today's activities. You may have noticed today was the 4th of July, so the evening's entertainment was going to be Kauai's annual fireworks display. Unfortunately, we didn't actually manage to record much of this festival, so we will just show you some of the fireworks as we explain the evening. This event is held at the Vedina Stadium soccer fields over in Lihue. We had pre-purchased tickets and we arrived nice and early to find the parking area, which was huge, to be full, and the traffic situation total chaos. After driving around in circles, we eventually found some legal parking and hiked over into the event. There was a huge number of food stalls and we ended up at Shaka Burgers, which offered some amazing burgers but had the longest line out of all the food stalls. There was a lot of excitement around the headline act, which was going to be Green, one of Hawaii's most famous bands. This little festival rarely gets big acts, so it was quite a boon, and everyone was really excited. Finally, the fireworks display got underway and they were pretty epic. We always feel a little odd celebrating the 4th of July, as we are British, and this is essentially America's independence from us. Still, this was long ago, and we just enjoy being along for the ride. After the fireworks, it was a long drive back in the dark to our unit with some pretty hellish traffic, as pretty much everyone left all at the same time. Today was another really big day, at least it was for me. I was off to tick another Hawaiian island off the list while Kate stayed back at the resort and had a chill day, just sorting stuff out and generally chilling by the pool. For me, it was a mega early start as I headed over to Sea Sports Divers for an epic trip over to Niihau for some of the wildest diving I have ever done. Stunning clear waters, incredible wildlife and the cutest monk seal encounters imaginable, along with a lot of sharks. The full video is on the way, so stay tuned to the channel for some epic dive footage. This was a really long day, and by the end I was shattered, so it was an early night after just catching the happy hour at Kalapaki Joe's, just relaxing at the unit, getting ready for another epic day tomorrow. As we said earlier, we had planned a lot for this part of the trip. There is so much to see in Kauai, and most of it is in the south. So while we had a packed few days, once we head north, things will calm down a wee bit as we hit the beaches. But while in the south, it's all go. And today was no exception as we headed bright and early to Port Allen to catch our catamaran tour of the Na Pali Coast with Captain Andes. This was another epic adventure of dolphins, turtles, snorkeling and stunning scenery, along with some great food and drinks, as we cruised along probably the most stunning coastline in the world. The Na Pali Coast really is the headline attraction in Kauai, and it's not hard to see why. This was our third look at the coast on this trip alone, and it really does just get better and better the more you take it in, especially when the crew killed the engines and we headed out to sea to get a more distant view of the coast. The snorkel stop was pretty average really. It was fairly dark as it was shaded by a cliff, the light was average and visibility so-so, and there was a definite lack of turtles. We saw one, but every time we headed over to the more exciting areas we were called back by the crew. Overall, it was a fantastic day out on the water and was a real highlight amongst an entire trip of highlights. For dinner, we just wanted something a little relaxed, so we utilised the unit's communal barbecues. This was a little rustic, and we really just wanted to create a classic 4th of July barbecue, similar to our 4th of July dinner we had on our honeymoon 10 years ago, so hot dogs it was. Then for our last night in Poipu, we headed down to Shipwreck Beach to just watch the ocean and take in a stunning sunset. Tomorrow we head north to Princeville, and this was a fitting goodbye to this beautiful part of the state. For the final part of this leg, we took some time to explore the South Kauai area. We've been so busy on this part of the trip, we never really got a chance to explore. So after packing up and checking out of the unit, we headed off for a look around the area, starting off with breakfast at Lavas on Poipu Beach. Kate had a build-your-own omelette, and I had my first Moco Loco of this trip. Both were really good, if a little expensive, but we were in the Sheraton, right on Poipu Beach, so it's to be expected. We then headed over to the Sprouting Horn. We had seen signs all over for this attraction, and we couldn't help but giggle every time. It is basically a large wood spout and is mightily impressive. There are several of these along this part of the Kauai coast, and we could see them firing off yesterday as we sailed down the coastline. We then headed a little further up the coast to Salt Pond Beach to check out the monk seal resting site and explore this beautiful natural beach area. It was then getting on for midday and time to make the drive up north to Princeville and Hanalei. We will pick that up in our next video, but things take a slightly more relaxed vibe as we revert to being beach bums for a few days. See you in that video, and remember to like and subscribe to the channel so you know when that and all our other Hawaii content drops. Mahalo for watching.